Well, it's January and many of us are suffering from post-holiday credit card shock. Fortunately, there's a doctor in the house. Personal finance specialist Cowan is going to help ease our pain. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well. I'm so glad you're here. I know a lot of people are like me, and the bills are kind of going up this month because of all the spending over the holidays. What can we do? How can you help us?
You know, it happens to everybody. It happened to me. You know, it's called credit card surprise.
Yeah.
You get a few extra items at the last minute, and the next thing you know, you've got this big bill. One of the things you might consider is take a look at the interest rate that you're currently paying. The average, for example, is about 14.5%. If you're paying more than that, and a lot of folks are, especially they've gotten to default rates, etc.
Right.
Perhaps transferring your balance to another card, a different card, might make some sense. However, keep some things in mind here. Number one, if your credit score is below 600, forget about it.
So no transferring.
It's just not going to happen.
Okay.
With one, perhaps, notable exception. And this is something I discovered just about a week ago I'd never heard of before.
What's that?
It's called an application score.
What is that?
The application score occurs when you actually fill out that application that you get in the mail. And we get them like crazy, don't you?
Right, yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Sign in for this, sign in for that.
Always.
The application score can actually supersede your credit score. For example, let's say you got laid off a year ago, and your credit score went down because you were late on bills. And it happens, right? But now you got a new job, you're making twice the money you were making before. That application is going to reflect that, and you're going to get that application score, which may overshadow your credit score. So even if your score is below 600, take the shot.
Okay, so how do you get your application score up?
Well, number one, answer every question on the application.
Okay.
Don't skip anything.
Don't skip,
and,
all right.
And above all, be totally honest.
Okay. Don't
try to say, well, I made the...
No fibbing.
No, because, well, there's just too much information out there about you.
Right. They have
no
your social security number. They're going to be able to find it, right?
There's no place to hide.
Okay. Now, what about our monthly payments? You know, whenever your credit card bill goes up, then your monthly payments go up, and then so you have all these payments you're making every month. You're trying to make ends meet. What can we do to lower those?
Well, again, if you will transfer that balance to a lower interest type card.
As long as you have the high enough score.
As long as you got a high enough score, and you worry about the application score as well. Those two things work together.
Okay.
You can then get yourself a lower balance. For example, as I said before, the average is about 14.7, right? But there's a card out called, I think, the Simmons Platinum Bank Card.
Right.
7.25%.
Wow.
And
half of that.
And there's no annual fee, right?
Okay, because I was about to say, well, then there's got to be a fee, but if there's not.
No. So when you look at the options out there, you got to realize that as long as you do your homework and you take the time to do it right, you can get those payments lowered considerably.
Okay. So what about for those of us middle of the road kind of score? What do you recommend for a card for us? What do you recommend?
Well, I think that you got to stay away from, especially us middle-of-the-roaders, you got to stay away from these heavy fee platinum diamond cards, you know, like, for example, American Express carries a card or provides you a card where the annual fee is $450 a year.
Right.
Now, I don't know about you, but I can't afford to spend $450 a year for prestige, right?
Yeah, just to have the card, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The type of person that ought to be carrying a card like that is someone who travels extensively, who is perhaps an executive within his or her company.
Like probably a business.
Yeah, and they can take advantage then of the perks because there's concierge perks, there's flight, and some of these reward cards are kind of interesting, but almost all of them carry a fee.
Okay.
Again, almost all of them.
Right. So where do we look to find the ones without the fees?
Well, again, look to American Express.
Okay.
The American Express Blue Everyday Card.
Ah.
All right, no fees. And with every charge for, I think, well, in fact, groceries, you get 3% cash back. On gasoline, 2% cash back. And on everything else, 1% cash back. Now, for folks like you and me, that probably makes a lot of sense.
It does make a lot of sense.
And the interest rates are competitive.
Okay.
So those two things combined, You package it all together, and you can manage these holiday bills a heck of a lot better than perhaps you're doing now.
Right. So I need to take like my card that's not American Express that has a fee on it and maybe look to transfer it.
I think you should. Now, be a little bit careful of transfer fees, all right? Because those are out there. You got to read the fine print. I've seen some fees as high as 5%. So you transfer a $3,000 balance, you're looking at a $150 fee. My gosh, that can get pretty expensive. Well, no. It's not worth it.
Right.
So you have to look at it and say, all right, how much am I going to save per month on this interest rate, given the transfer fee of 1 or 2%? But again, Kristen, there are places you can look where there are no transfer fees.
Okay.
You just got to do your homework.
You got to do your homework. So there is a good deal out there for us, and there's a better way for us to go to help get out of our holiday debt.
Without question. It's just a matter of taking the time to do it.
And of course, you're the person to help us out with this. Where can our viewers go to get more information?
Well, you know, I used to think there was only one site to go to, and that's
right.
And I'm not even going to mention it now because it doesn't longer make any sense. What you really need to do is go to Google and just Google lowest possible credit card rates, and then take a look at all kinds of options. You'll find 5 or 6 sites. They'll point you in the right direction. You'll find the right card for you. Okay, and so it'll go by your credit score, and it'll kind of help you out with where you are financially. Credit score calculators, application score calculators as well. That is a new one. I really want to learn more about that. Oh, yeah, me too. I was really excited to find that. So that means that if your credit score isn't right where you want it to be, there may be a little more hope. I think there's hope, yes. Well, thank you so much, Skip. Really good information. Always a pleasure. All right, and of course, you can get more information on our website, casa.com.